In some essential ways, alchemy is the skillful recognition of and collaboration with the transformations of nature, which are always and already underway. And if we enter into alchemy at that perspective, the next inquiry is, how do these transformations move? How are they held as they do so? Alchemy does not occur in abstractions. It's easy to think it does, but that is not the point of alchemical understanding. It requires conditions. It requires a situation. It requires a field of circumstances, of relationships in which something can be worked upon, and that forces can be used to influence what is being worked on. Traditionally, these tools are understood as the container and the fire. Container is essentially a tool of continuity. It's the tool of locating what you are working on, of holding it, of knowing it. The fire is the tool of the forces of change, and together they craft transformation. Now, a container is often misunderstood as something passive, and it has that mode, but it isn't inherently passive. We think of it as a vessel that it simply holds the material while something else acts upon it. But in alchemical practice, this is certainly not the case. The container is not only essential, but also deceptively active. The container has shape, it has form, it has structure. And as such, it shapes the process. It determines what can be held, how it is held, and what shape the contents, the material within it, will take. This is very important to understand because this is the alchemical approach of the container. The material within the container will take the shape of the container. This is lingo, yes, but more so, this alchemical wisdom helps us see that the material, i.e. a group of people in a gathering, a collective process, will take the shape of the container, of the facilitation. And if it all goes well, that's great. That's what we want, to take the shape of the container that is prepared for people. Material can take the shape of the container, or it can also destroy the container, as we often see in poorly held or poorly conceived group facilitation. Now, this is common language in group facilitation, but all of it is alchemical language, alchemical wisdom of the everyday world. And so, alchemically speaking, every container has qualities to it. And so a container can be rigid or flexible, can be transparent or opaque or concealing. It can be a stable container, it can also be a very fragile container on purpose. All manner of other traits and qualities are possible, probably infinite possibilities. In the alchemical lore, we often see imagery of very complex containers, crazy containers connected to other chambers and dials and tubes and just all kinds of craziness. In its essence, this is showing us containers that can adjust to the process, to meet the material in different ways as the process proceeds. And so none of the qualities of a container are incidental. They directly, purposefully influence the transformation that occurs within them. A rigid container may preserve structure, but it can also prevent movement, and it might be necessary movement. A container that is too open can allow too much to enter at once, let's say, and that may disperse the process, spilling over before it can actually deepen and evolve. Or a shielded container for a dangerous material or a fragile, delicate material. It may be exactly what is needed, but it might also obscure what needs to be seen within. And so the container is not neutral or passive or inert. It's not just a cup on a table. It is part of the work, an active part of the work, an intelligent part of the work. And so the container holds the material and the process. Fire is what is moving things along, moving the energy, changing things. Fire is many, many things in alchemy. It's a force of transformation, of light, of warmth. And as transformation, it is what breaks things down. And it refines it, it intensifies it, it alters the state of the matter. But in the strange language of alchemy, we must expand our understanding of fire if we want to grasp the language and really the perspective, which is the power of alchemy. In the old books of alchemy, we find fire described as you would expect, as flames, low heat, high heat, scalding heat, simply a warming heat, and so on in all the ways that you might expect fire to potentially be described, to be used. But we also find very strange fires, like a tub of sand, and it's referred to as a fire that you are applying. This is because fire is an element, yes, but it is symbolic more than simply of the sort of natural existent fires that we encounter. It's symbolic of the will. This is the action being taken in alchemy that changes things. And so to really grasp the significance of this, it helps to know that one of the main epithets or the nicknames of the alchemists, they were called fire tenders. An alchemist is one who tends the fire, one who tends the will. And so in the lore, we hear all manner of fires, which are wild and crazy, but they're really all just different forms of action, different forms of will, which of course includes inaction. The symbolic play can be a rabbit hole to dive into on your own, but the essential piece for our purposes here is the idea of an alchemist being a fire tender, which means one who tends the will, the actions, passive or active, and anywhere in between, of the alchemical process. Without fire, without action, nothing changes. With too much fire, things are destroyed or forced prematurely and miss the mark. Fire, as an element, as will, it's always an intensity, but it can just as easily be an intensity of withholding, a contained fire. Likewise, it can be an unleashing upon the material, an unleashing of the will, and of course every possibility in between. It has numerous, likely endless qualities, potentially. The word tending is also vital here. To tend fire is not to try to control it completely, but to remain in relationship with it, in service to it, really, helping it grow in the right ways, keeping it from getting out of control. This means noticing such things as when material is rising beyond what the container can hold, and taking action. It means recognizing when there is not enough energy present to sustain the process, and taking action. It means adjusting with attention, adjusting with care. Sometimes the work is to increase the fire, to engage more directly, to act, to bring energy into something that has become stagnant. Sometimes the work is to reduce the fire, to allow something to cool or settle or integrate. And sometimes, as you tend a fire, the work is simply to stay present with the fire that is already there. Perhaps you clear some space for it to see what it will do, not trying to resolve or evolve it too quickly. And so, container and fire are not separate tools used independently. They are profoundly interdependent. Skillful container can hold more qualities of fire. A poorly formed container will crack when it's tested. Too much fire in too small a container will definitely lead to rupture. Too little fire in too large a container, it will likely have no effect at all. Much of alchemical perception and skill comes from learning how to sense this relationship. And so with this, I'm sure you can begin to sense your life through these descriptions. Containers in your life, the places you tend with attention and care, or perhaps the places where you need more tending. As we learn more and more about these tools, seeing our life through alchemy, and we continue to engage with them, it's very important to recognize an alchemical paradox. This is that any alchemy we are a part of is the result of much older alchemy. We could call it ancestral or historical or simply cosmic or ancient, possibly even older than any of that. And yet at the same time, while everything we are experiencing and working with is the result of eons of alchemical evolution, transformation, at the same time, it is also the moment that is ours, which is the very beginning of what you are doing right now, in this moment of the ongoing process. The alchemist must be able to be a container that can hold both the big picture, the ancient inheritance, the knowing that our lives and everything in them is formed by vast outer forces, but also the knowing that this moment is the only one we have in which we can actually engage with our will, with fire, the alchemy. We must be the container that can hold both of these perspectives as one. This moment we dwell within, it has history, but it is always a beginning, an opportunity for beginning again in itself. And it is also the critical, the essential understanding that the moment is the focus point for our skillful practice, for our inquiries. They do not happen at any other time, no matter what else has come before. It is vital to be neither caught in nor dismissive of the big picture or the present moment. Because this twofold view is what invites, or really what crafts, or even forges, our skillful means, our wise craft, as we become fire tenders.